Do-do-do-do-do. We are talking all things Christmas. Leave your comments and questions. Looks like we got a few of you tuned in. I got to run and grab a couple things. I've got a dehydrator running there. Can you hear that? Can you hear that buzzing, humming in the background? Is that going to bother anybody? If it did, if you can hear it, I'll go turn it off. So, I don't know. If you can hear the dehydrator running while I'm gone, leave a comment. I'll be right back. Nope, just hear you. Good. All right. Okay. I think we've gathered up 10 people, it looks like. I've got the dehydrator running. About half the jerky's finished. The other half's not quite. It's getting pretty close. So I was just going to let it run. As long as y'all can't hear it, it's not bothering you. We'll just let the dehydrator go. So let me run down who's in the side chat that I can see. So, so far, we've got Chris 338, Ozzie Smith, Austin Presley, JH 586, Andy Gone Fishing, CW Longshot, Killing Time Productions. All right. Good to have all you guys. If any of you tune in, we're going to talk Christmas, all things Christmas. We can talk anything you want to talk about. We can talk about Christmas gifts. We can talk about Jesus Christ's birth. We can do Bible questions. I'll let you decide where you want to go with it. But I am a pastor. I do field a lot of Bible questions. So Christmas is one of those holidays a lot of people have, questions about. And anyways, so if you've got a Bible question, a Jesus question, a Christmas question, hey, what would be a good gift question? Any of those things. I'm game. It's just going to be open forum on the topic of Christmas. Of course, we can go anywhere we want. Robert Moore, thanks for tuning in. Winchester Model 70. Hey, Richie, good to see you. Yeah, the beard's, it takes me about 3 months to get it where you can see it. But that's just a fair-skinned, light-bearded guy. Which passage of Scripture would you like to preach on? Isaiah 9, Matthew 1, or Luke 2 for a Christmas message? Just curious. Last Sunday, I started in Luke 2, and I discussed I preached on the angels declaring to the shepherds that Jesus was born. And then I went to the empty tomb where the angels told the women who came to prepare Jesus's body that he's not here, he is risen. And then I went to the angels who appeared to the apostles and other bystanders when Jesus ascended into heaven, and they said, "You men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing into the heavens? This same Jesus which you have seen leave will come in like manner." And so the title of my message for Christmas was "Angels We Have Heard on High." And the first set of angels said, "He is here." The second set of angels said, "He is gone." And the third set of angels said, "He's coming again." And that was my Christmas message, Andy. And so I like Luke 2. It's more detailed. I have done a Galatians 4 message at one time, but I don't typically preach holiday messages, just to be honest with you. A lot of years Christmas comes and goes, and I don't ever really leave the book I'm going through. I'm a verse by verse preacher most of the time, and then on Wednesday nights I do doctrinal and topical series. Hey, Fitz Preacher Farm, thanks for coming by. I've really been enjoying all the stuff your wife made for us. Most of it made it home. Homestead Oss, hey, thanks for tuning in. I don't know what time it is over there. That always confuses me, but thanks for tuning in. Yes, Jesus's birth without the resurrection is problematic. And I think that's why, I think it was Will Ferrell in some movie, and I don't watch a lot of movies, but he prayed to sweet baby Jesus. So we have a lot of people saying sweet baby Jesus when they pray, and they think it's funny. And anyways, what happens is when you only talk about his birth and you don't ever discuss any of the rest of it, you end up with a theology that leaves Jesus in the manger. And I think Catholics make the same mistake by leaving Jesus on the cross. And so you kind of become closed-minded, or really you influence people too heavily in one direction when you do that. So good point, Jamie. Let's see, James Pollard. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I look 20 pounds heavier. That's all the candy your wife made that I ate between your house and mine. Anyways, so the deal is we're talking Christmas. We're going to do this for, I don't know, till y'all run out of questions or I run out of wind or get bored or whatever. I don't know. But I'll tell you what we've got coming up for videos, or what I'm working on. I made possum salt for Christmas, and I videoed the process, and I'm going to give away the recipe. So tomorrow on Christmas Day, my Christmas gift to all of you is the recipe to my possum salt. You'll be able to watch it, see how I make it, see all the ingredients that are in it, and I don't keep any secrets. So that'll be up tomorrow. Let me grab this. I bought this High Mountain, I think is what it is. Yeah, High Mountain seasoning. This is like a 5-pack, like a sampler pack. Cajun, let's see here. Cajun, cracked black pepper and garlic, hickory blend, mesquite blend, and original. So those 5 all come in this box of 5. And I made 2 pounds of each. That's of ground. That's the way it goes. And I've got those, the last of them, the original and the mesquite are finished. The Cajun, the pepper, and the hickory, I think, are still in there. And they like about an hour and they'll be done. So I'll be doing a taste test video. I'll taste all 5 and give you my honest opinion of High Mountain. Calvin's Corner 72 recommended that. He said he liked it better than the backwoods seasoning that I've been using. So, all right, let me catch up on the side chat. Yes, Micah 7:2, Isaiah 53. Those are good. I think it's funny how so many people have the Magi in their manger scenes. They weren't even there. That's true. The Magi did arrive, many people believe, up to 2 years later. That's a good point. Merry Christmas, Brandon C. I hope you guys have a great Christmas as well. Uncle Jim, I've missed all the live streams. I've had family obligations earlier today, and I had supper with my in-laws tonight. My mother-in-law had been fattening a calf, and she had it butchered back in October, and so she had my brother-in-law grill steaks So when somebody in the family's grilling steaks, I don't miss it. So I got down there and got me some steaks. My brother-in-law did a great job of cooking them. Let's see here. What else we got? Magi were changed, the first Gentiles to worship Christ. My favorite Christmas song is Please Come Home for Christmas by the Eagles. Did somebody ask me? Oh, yes. What is your favorite Christmas song? That would go for the side chat as well. You guys can put in your favorite Christmas song. My favorite Christmas carol is What Child Is This? And I think that's kind of been the question that is associated with Jesus's life on earth. When he was 12 and he taught in the temple, all of the rabbis were like, what manner of man is this that teaches this way as a child? And then when he rebuked the wind and the storm, and the apostles said on the boat, what manner of man is this that the wind and the sea obey him? And the Roman soldiers that killed him knew that he was not an ordinary man. And they said after his death on the cross, surely we have killed the Son of God. And then when you look at his spirit in the apostles after his ascension, the apostles are preaching to the Pharisees and Sadducees and disputing with them. They're being arrested, and they say, are these men not Galileans, yet they speak as learned men? And so that question, what child is this? I think that's what makes that Christmas carol my favorite, is it lays out his humility and his humble beginning. And that is really the question. And that's the question that all of you need to answer in your own life. What is Jesus Christ? Is this real? I believe he's real. I'm trusting my life on it. I'm trusting my death on it. And so that's the question that each of you must determine if you're going to believe in him or reject him. I want to win a hunt with you next year. Daniel, you can hunt with me anytime you invite me down to Louisiana to hunt with you. I don't have enough big ones to go around. I don't have enough little ones to go around. The Lord just really blessed me with a unique deer this year, and then an exceptional deer to follow that. So away in a manger. So maybe a Christmas hunt giveaway. No. Oh, Holy Night. That's a good one. Elvis style. Yeah, that's right. I like Christ the candle at the service this evening. Oh, you lit the Christ candle at the service this evening. That's neat. A Strange Way to Save the World by For Him. Never heard of it. Reloader 762. I'll have to check that out. What good comes out of Nazareth? That's right. That's right. Yes, sir. Jesus, the King of all creation, when God drives. Okay. So I've asked you what's your favorite Christmas carol or Christmas hymn. Maybe you want to give me just your favorite Christian hymn whatsoever. Either way, maybe it's your favorite praise and worship song. Maybe you're one of them people that like Jesus rap. I don't know. Whatever it is you're into, that'd be the time to share it. If you have any questions about the birth of Christ, you have any questions about Christmas, please. Well, I'm not going to say it, because if I say don't do it, I know what y'all are going to do. There's 26 of you watching. If I say don't do it, 13 of you are going to do it. So I'll just keep my mouth shut. Anyways, I'm going to have a drink. I got some grape Kool-Aid. That is good stuff. Hey, Dan, thanks for tuning in. All right. So if you don't have any questions, I need to talk. I'll just do a little talking, a little rambling here. What YouTubers do you watch? Ozzy, good question. I'm subscribed to about 300 different people, and I watch kind of a wide and varied. Of course, I see all of the videos they post. I really like Jared over at Flutie Lick. I watch a lot of his videos. I enjoy. Well, Jared's just a fine Christian man, and I'll be honest with you. Most of what I watch on a regular basis tends to be of the more wholesome stuff. If your channel's dropping the F-bomb all the time, I'm probably not watching much of it. So I tend to watch more, I wouldn't say faith-based stuff, but just stuff where I'm not having to hear, GD and F this and F that. I just, blasphemy is not something I want to sit and listen to. So I watch some homesteading channels, but I get burnt out on all of them. Sometimes I would watch Lumna Acres, and but then you can only watch Al, build so many barns, and it's kind of, okay, Al's putting up a barn again. I'll watch Arms Family Homestead sometimes. Those are some of the larger channels I watch. And then I watch Paul over at the Bearded Carpenter. He builds and restores log cabins. I really enjoy his work. He's not too far from us. Of course, I watch Fitz Preacher Farm. He's a good friend of mine, just right down the road. Another preacher friend of mine just started a YouTube channel, The Hillbilly Preacher, and he's nearby, and I've been watching his first 2 or 3 videos. So anyways, that's kind of who I watch. I'm trying to think if there's a lot of guys that put stuff out regularly. I just find it hard. I watch Windwalker Outdoors. I'll tell you one I watch every video he puts up. Hunting with Hadaway, I watch every one of his videos. I don't think he's ever posted a video that I haven't watched. Wallace Vivian's Adventures, I watch Wallace a lot. And but those guys aren't posting like every day or 3 a week. And so I don't really get burnt out on them like I do some of the larger channels. Come and take it. I like the coffee, man. Hey, I do too. I like it. Does grape juice simulate wine? Does the grape? Oh, the grape in here. This is grape Kool-Aid. This is the little squirt bottle stuff that sugar free. No, wine, grape juice simulates wine, but grape Kool-Aid don't simulate wine. I don't know. I've never been a real wine drinker. Just never appealed to me. Well, there is some good theologically sound rap. One guy, Shaolin, I've actually heard of him. And he is theologically sound, but I can't get over if I'm going to hear rap, I just start thinking Beastie Boys and all the other stuff that that they say that I shouldn't listen to. Keith Green, Creating Me a Clean Heart. Yes, I have heard that song. Been a long time, but I have heard it. Politics. What about them, Brandon? You know where I stand on them. Or you just want me to cut the viewership in half? I've got a "Don't Tread on Me" flag behind me. So yeah, I'm pretty conservative. I'm pro-gun. I used to say I'm Republican, but anymore, that's pretty much an embarrassment these days to say you're Republican. There Will Be a Day by Jeremy Camp. That's a good one, Richie. I've heard that one too. Cody, hey, thanks for coming by, man. It is good sound doctrine. Yes, it is. Taco Stacks. I do watch Taco Stacks. I'll tell you another guy I watch, Scrap Farm in New Jersey. I think he's like in New Jersey or something like that, Pennsylvania. He drives around trash picking scrap metal and goes to the flea markets and stuff. He's just kind of a fat redneck like me, and that's why I like watching him. Let's see, where was I at? Sunday's Coming. That's a good one. Usually can't stand rap until folks, the Christian side. Yeah, Brandon needs some more tannerite and a toilet. That's exactly what Brandon needs. Yeah, I understand. Not everybody has to be a choir boy to have a YouTube channel. And I was in the military. I've heard every string of cuss words you can put together. And I mean, I've used a lot of them myself. It's just not something that I want to fill my free time with. So that's why I tend to avoid the GD and the F bomb and a lot of that kind of stuff. If I'm hearing that, I'm probably not watching. Hey, my internet is bad. It shouldn't be. What different meals have you cooked for Christmas? Um, Actually, my in-laws are in. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law are in from Georgia, and so we've been eating just about every night at my mother-in-law's house, and so I don't really cook any this week. And she cooked steaks. My brother-in-law cooked steaks tonight because my mother-in-law had fattened the calf and had it butchered. But my mom is cooking ham tomorrow, and we're going to her house, and I think we're just bringing two sides. So mostly what I've done is just make jerky. I've canned a bunch of jelly. I made possum salt. I made hot sauce. I've mainly just made things that went into the Christmas gifts that I'm giving out this year. Amish Paradise by Weird Al. That's a great one, Uncle Jim. Actually, that's me and my sons. That's probably one of our favorite Weird Al songs. Any barbecue reviews upcoming? You know, I've been to this place. I grew up eating here. I'm going to go to Wild Horse Mountain Barbecue over in Salisaw. I've eaten there since I was a little kid, but I've eaten there twice with the intention of doing a review, and both times never did it. The last time, the owner came out and sat down and talked to us, and he's like, "Bring your camera. Come back when I'm making hot links. Let's go back here, and I'll show you how. I'll give you a tour of the pit and show you how we do it." And so I was all fired up about that, and he passed away the next week. And so I mean, I hated to hear that he had passed away. His dad, he was the son, so he was the second generation owner of Wild Horse, and he's got a brother that's still living, but I think it's one of his kids now will be the third generation that'll take it over. And I need to go over there and do a review on it, just because, you know, anytime you change owners, you don't know what's going to happen. So, and that guy was a really good dude. I can't think of his name all of a sudden; it's slipping my mind, but. Yeah, that is a hilarious song. My internet's good. My internet should be good. I haven't had any trouble since I got fiber optic. Okay, question. Turkey, ham, or duck for Christmas, or deer? I'm eating all four. That's awesome. I'm not a big turkey fan. I just never have been. I love ham. I just, turkey, I mean, I've had it everywhere you can fix it. And I'm not saying it's bad. If I had my pick, I would go with ham. And duck, I mean, I eat duck. I made duck and rice with mushroom gravy the other night. And I did a video on it, but it didn't turn out exactly right, and I didn't want to publish the video. So I left it as is. Didn't publish it. So all right, let me see if I can get caught up. Spiral ham, that's the way to go. Pre-cut. It's the way to go. And see, when you have a ham and you eat it all, and then you have ham sandwiches, and then you have ham salad, then you got a ham bone, and you got beans and cornbread after that. So that's turkey. You ain't having beans and turkey, you know. So I that's why I prefer ham. We got a good Weird Al discussion going over here. How about White and Nerdy? That's good. I'll tell you guys another parody group. If you, well, they're not really a parody group. They sing actual popular songs, but they sing them to bluegrass. It's called the Cleverleys. They do have a YouTube channel, and they'll take rap songs and sing them to bluegrass, fiddles and banjos. And I love the Cleverleys, and Digger Cleverly, the lead singer's from Arkansas. So are some of the band members. So that's good. Let's see here. What's the strangest Christmas meal you've ever had? Man, I don't think I've ever really. Well, I mean, I grew up eating wild game. We never had store bought meat, and my dad hunted all over the world. If you've ever seen the video of my dad's house, you know, so yeah, I've had antelope, I've had caribou, I've had moose, I've had, mule deer and elk. I've had all those meats at Christmas, but I've never had anything. I wouldn't call that weird. That's what I grew up eating. And forget about the fat. That's right. Uh, let's see here. Used to land, yeah, they used to land helicopters in the field across the road from the barbecue place. The military would go in and get barbecue and take it back to Fort Chaffee and the other side of Fort Smith. Battle Bean, thanks for coming by, man. I'm trying to get caught up. Let's see here. All right, I think I'm getting caught up there. I'm having tuna. Man, Tim, I'd rather get colon switches in my stocking than have tuna for Christmas. Cody Man, great again. I did get a 6mm arc for Christmas, but it looks like it's going to be after Christmas before I finally get it put together. I've got the barrel sitting right here beside me, and I got the bolt right there, still in the package. So I need to get that done. Probably what I'll do is try to get with you one day and one evening or something when you get home, I'll run down and put it together. Let's see here. Mallard or teal ducks? For best eating, I'd say teal. I like mallards. That's what I cooked the other night was 3 mallards. But I do think teal tastes better. And really it's a texture thing. You know, geese don't taste much different than ducks. They're just so much bigger. Hang on, I got to get rid of a guy real quick. Oh, all right. Bolt action reloading. Thanks for coming by. Goat is pretty tasty too. You know, I've only had goat one time, and it was at a barbecue restaurant in Texas, and I thought it was fine. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. I've had groundhog once, and that lasted me the rest of my life. Do you pheasant hunt any? No, we don't have any pheasants here. I mean, they have a few pheasant release, facilities like where you go and they turn pheasants loose and you can go hunt them. But no, we don't. The nearest place is southeastern Kansas, up around Baxter Springs. I've been on a couple, release pheasant hunts. You pay like I think we paid like $120, and they released 4 pheasants per person in the area you hunted, 2 roosters, 2 hens. And I think it was 4 guys at a time. So there were 4 of us and a guy with a dog, a pointing dog, and we went around just kicking them up. But we killed some other birds too. We ended up killing way more than 4 apiece because not everybody kills their birds. And then when you got done, you got lunch. It was just kind of a go up and shoot a few times and come home thing. But that's all the pheasant hunting I've ever done. Pluck or breast? We breast them out. So, Pony 47, thanks for coming by. Merry Christmas to you too. You quail or dove hunt? I've quail hunted a few times with dogs, not much. My grandfather was a big bird hunter. When I was a kid, we dove hunted a lot, and now I live where there are a lot of doves and dove fields, and I don't do it. Usually what happens with dove hunting here, in order to have a good hunt, you've got to have a field. And then if you have a field, you have game wardens because they're like General George Armstrong Custer. They charge to the sound of the shot. So if you get a dove field, then you're going to have game wardens coming to your dove field and checking you and harassing you. And so I don't mess with it. The last time we had a dove field, I I don't know, maybe 30 minutes into the hunt, the game warden showed up, and then he just went around the field checking everybody's license and plug and everything he could possibly check. None of us got tickets. We hadn't done anything wrong, but it's just it's kind of harassing. I thought, man, this ain't worth it. I'll just not do this. So I don't dove hunt anymore. Merry Christmas, preacher, from your new friend in Florida. Well, thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you too. Okay, if you ain't got any Christmas questions, let me explain a little importance of Christmas. The Bible says that Mary was a virgin, and we sing "Round Yon Virgin, Mother and Child," and so there's really been an attack on the virginity of Mary, and I want to clarify that Mary was indeed a virgin and that she had never known a man, and I want to tell you why that's necessary and why that's a doctrine that you're not going to compromise on. The reason that Mary had to be a virgin was because if Jesus Christ was just a result of Mary and another human, Jesus would have the same problem that you and I have, a sin problem. Because when Adam sinned in the Garden of Eden, he passed on sin to all of his children, and all of us trace our lineage back to Adam, and sin is inherited by the Father. And so in the garden, this is why God promises Eve that her seed would crush the serpent. Now, not to get all biological with you, but it is the males that have the seed, and it is the females that have the egg. And so when God says in the Garden of Eden that Eve's seed would crush the head of the serpent, he's saying that Eve, not Eve specific, but somewhere down the road, a woman is going to give birth to a child that was not conceived by man. And so that's why Mary, when the Bible says she's a virgin, that's why it's important that you not alter that and say, well, I don't believe that. Because if Mary was not a virgin, then Jesus was just a man. And Jesus was not just a man. Jesus was God already pre-existent who came to the earth in the form of a man. And so this is why it's imperative that Christians who believe the Bible not ever back away from the virginity of Mary. And some people say, well, I just don't believe that a virgin could conceive a child. Well, let me just go ahead and clue you in. I believe a dead man can rise from the grave. And I believe someone can be dead 3 days and be risen from the grave. Matter of fact, Lazarus was dead 4 days, be risen from the grave. I don't have a problem with the supernatural because the God I serve and the God I believe in established nature. And so the laws of nature, he's not bound by them because he's created them. And so I don't have a problem with a virgin giving birth to a child any more than I have Jesus Christ raising from the dead. So if your hang up is you don't believe in the supernatural, then you're going to have problems with God because he's not on your level. We serve a God who's not like us. So that being said, I think it's important that when we think of those lines, and there are a number of them in Christmas carols about Mary being a virgin, that we not say, well, that's just a hearsay or tradition or speculation. No, the Bible clearly says it. As a matter of fact, in the Old Testament, Isaiah prophesied that a virgin would give birth, and then 700 years later, she did. So it's all according to the plan of God. In this way, we could have a Christ with no sin nature, born a human, but still be God. And if since Christ didn't inherit sin nature, he never sinned, he lived a perfect sin-free life, then when he dies on the cross, he can pardon us and pay our sin debt because he knew no sin. But I can't die on the cross and save everybody. I'm in the same boat you're in. I'm a sinner. We needed a perfect sacrifice, and that's why Christ was virgin born. So there's your 10-cent sermon, and you can keep the 10 cents. Let me get caught up on the questions here. Ever got peppered jerky? Yeah, I've got some in the dehydrator. Don't have enough doves to hunt. Sometimes that's the way it is. 6-Shooter Texan, thanks for coming by. Merry Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas, MCK. Daniel Preach says that is the truth. He and I agree on a lot of things. When was Jesus born? I do not know. I do not know. History tells us when he's born. I mean, Jesus Christ is the man that split time. We have a BC for a reason. That's before Christ. And so the world acknowledges that Jesus was an actual being who was born. And we keep time according to when he arrived. But the real question is not, was Jesus actually here? The real question is, what do you believe about him? Was he God, and is he your God? So I don't know exactly when he was born, and I highly doubt it was on the 25th of December. And I think if it was important, God would have told us. So, yes, sir, the first promise of redemption is in Genesis 3, the root of Jesse, David. He's the branch, the living water. Yep, bread of life. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, the promise of redemption shows up as soon as man gets in trouble. So as soon as mankind eats off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he runs and hides. And this is man's problem. He's not looking for God. A lot of people tell me, hey, I'm looking for God. Can you help me? No, you're not looking for God. God's looking for you. And so in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve are hiding. When they hear God coming, they run and hide. And God has to call out to them, where are you? It's not because God doesn't know where they are. It's like a parent who knows their child's done wrong saying, what have you done? They're eliciting a confession. And so when God calls out to Adam in the garden and says, Adam, where are you? He says, I was hiding. And then God says, well, why was you hiding? God knew what happened. God's trying to get Adam to confess his sinfulness. And so he presses him. And then finally, Adam says, it's not my fault. It's her fault. You gave me her and she got me in trouble. So Adam passes the buck. So when mankind sins, he runs away from God. He doesn't want anything to do with God. But because we have a loving God who cares about his creation, who's interested in his creatures, he comes down, he approaches man, he makes a sacrifice. God kills the animals and clothes Adam and Eve, and then promises that one day somebody would come and permanently fix this. So when Christ came, he offered that permanent fix. And he was able to do that because he was born of a virgin, and he didn't have the same sin problem that you and I have, because we trace our lineage back to Adam. Jesus Christ doesn't have an earthly father. Therefore, he doesn't have the sin nature that you and I have. So God's plan of redemption is plan A, not plan B. It was always there from the beginning. Let's see here. If you got any questions, Bible questions, try to keep them Christian or Christmas related. I don't want to get off on big long tangents about end times and the mark of the beast and all that. But if you've got Christmas questions, Jesus questions, Bible questions tonight, if you've got Christmas present questions, tree questions, I don't know anything about Christmas lights, but somebody else might, throw them out tonight. Can a dead man vote for Biden? That's a good question, Ozzy. My theology says that we're dead in trespasses and sin, and dead men can't do anything. But I guess dead men can vote for Biden. Isaiah 9:6. That's correct. Fact will always be stranger than fiction. You're absolutely correct, Surviving Chicago. Just ask a theoretical physicist. That's right. Hebrews 10:13, Christmas to you and yourn, preacher. I like that I'm all yourn reference. I love Mr. Tyler Childers. And, you know, he sobered up, by the way. I hope he stayed sober, but I saw him put something out here about 3 months ago that he had been 6 months clean and sober. And I'm not a teetotaler, by the way, but I'm definitely against drunkenness and drug use. And it was good to see that Tyler was cleaned up. I hope he will stay with it. So Merry Christmas to you, Roy. Christmas traditions in your home, man, we just don't have any. I'll just be honest with you. We haven't put up a tree in years. We our Christmas tradition, my grandparents, my side of the family, my dad's grandparents or my dad's parents, we would go there on Christmas Eve. It'd be all the cousins, aunts, and uncles from my dad's side of the family. Christmas morning, we would have our kids would open presents. We'd run down to my wife's mom and dad's, open presents there, and eat breakfast with them. Then we would drive to Boonville, which is like an hour and 15 minutes from where I live, hour and a half maybe. We would drive down there and eat lunch with my wife's extended family, her grandmother and aunts and uncles. Then we would leave after lunch and drive to Greenwood, where my parents live, and have supper there and open gifts with them. And then we'd get home about 10:30, just wore smooth out. And that's the tradition. So we didn't have much here. It was always traveling and going and seeing everyone else. Thanks, Dan. I'm glad you agree and appreciate it. All for his glory. Yep. Preacher style is awesome. Well, Uncle Jim, you and I are good friends, but my style of preaching is if you don't understand it, it ain't doing you any good. So I try to put everything in terms so simple that even I can understand them. And usually if I can understand them, then it's available to everybody else. How did it move? How about the star? The star, there's no indication that it moved or that it hovered. What the Bible actually says is that the wise men in the east, or the wise men saw his star in the east. So they saw some kind of sign in the heavens that told them that. Exactly what that star looked like, if it was some rare thing, if it was some tradition. Here's what you have to keep in mind. And Andy, you ask a good question. How did these magi know where this star was? Was the star hovering around over Bethlehem? Because it's right over the top of the manger when you look at the nativity scene. And the real answer to that question is this. We're not saying, and the Bible doesn't explicitly say that the star was there. It says they followed the star. I don't necessarily think that meant the star moved there. Here's what you have to keep in mind. All major people groups have oral tradition that traces their lineage back to Noah. Believe it or not, the Chinese oral tradition says we descended from a man named Yoa in their language near Mount Ararat. And so what happened was when Noah and his 3 sons and their wives all got off the ark after the worldwide flood, all humanity was right there in that family. And so then they went out on the plain of Babel and they built a tower and they tried to defy God, and God confounded their language. So God separated people groups. So humanity was all one race. God separated them by language. And when you isolate people by any trait, you then begin to get dominant genes. So you'll get people with what we would call yellow skin. You'll get people with what we call fair skin, people with dark skin, people with brown skin. They were all one colored skin. They all had one general shape of their eyes, one general shape of their nose and lips. But when God separated them by language, we got different people groups because they were separated by a specific trait. And so when you isolate groups of people, you end up with the way we look today. Some of them had blue eyes, some of them had brown eyes, some had curly hair, some had straight hair. They're all humans. But all of these groups scattered around the world, if you go back and look at their old ancient history, they all say, we came from Noah. Well, these people weren't Bible believers. I mean, they weren't Jews. They didn't have the law. They didn't have these things. But what they did have was they had an understanding about God in the Old Testament, that there was a God and that he was going to provide a way of salvation for his people and forgive their sins. So you could be a Chinese wise man, and I'm just saying Chinese. You could be Middle Eastern. I don't exactly know where the Magi came from. Some people said it was Persia. Some said it was the Far East, like China. I don't know. Mongolia, I have no idea. All I know is they were Magi, wise men from somewhere else coming here. Their oral tradition would have told them what Noah knew when he got off the ark. So even though they didn't have a written Old Testament like God gave through Moses and the prophets, they did have an understanding of God and a plan of redemption. And something in their tradition, something in their teaching taught them that there was a need to go to Bethlehem and find this king. Now, what they may have done is consulted Jewish writings, which said that there would be born in Bethlehem a king. And so they saw some astrological sign that meant something to them, and they went there and followed their information. So that's the best I can do, Andy. I kind of went in a long rabbit trail, but I hope that somewhat answers your question. Watching on the TV running interference while Hannah wraps presents. Merry Christmas, Hadaway. Hunting and Hadaway. I told you guys earlier, that's one of the channels I don't think I've ever missed any of Anthony's videos. Really, really, really enjoy his channel. And you would too. If you like country boys hunting, you'd like Hunting with Hadaway. Nose on the grindstone and out of the peels. That's right. I tell you what, that's what I like about Tyler Childers. He's got a unique voice, but Austin, he is a phenomenal writer. I mean, great, rich lyrics. And that's what's missing in modern music. We don't have those great lyrics anymore. Everything's shallow, truck, cut off shorts, down by the river, dirt road, drink, dip, chew. It's just simple stuff. We don't have those George Jones type songs like He Stopped Loving Her Today. We don't have Mama Tried by Merle Haggard. We don't have these songs that really told stories. And I see that with Tyler Childers. I see that with Colter Wall, another guy. But both of these men, very troubled in their personal life. So, but I kind of getting off the Christmas motif there. All right. Favorite Christmas movie? You'll shoot your eye out, kid. It's The Christmas Story. I like it. And I like the one where the guy goes to jump off the bridge. What's that? Miracle on something street, 35th, 8th, something. Boonville Bearcats. What in the world is a purple and gold Bearcat? Hey, there was a restaurant in Boonville called the Bearcat, and I'm here to tell you it was a buffet, and you could get breakfast buffet, and they had chocolate gravy on it. And they closed down the Bearcat, and Boonville pretty much closed with it. And then they opened Reed's Hometown Barbecue, and in my opinion, that is the best barbecue in this part of Arkansas, and it's among some of the best you'll ever eat in the country. Reed's Hometown Barbecue in Boonville. I've got a video on that, and I'm going back. I'll do that one again. Steve Reed's the owner. We've kind of messaged back and forth on Facebook, and I want to go back and kind of look around behind the scenes and hopefully take you guys with me. So, yeah, let's see here. Hey, Georgia Boy. There's one of my favorite pastors, Georgia Boy 44. Phenomenal preacher. I can say that because we agree so much. I wonder if Mary had labor pains. Rich Mountains, I can assure you she did. Mary was not spared any of the pain and agony of raising Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, I would say more so because she got to watch her son die as